Hi guys, have you ever wondered what it takes to become a crypto miner yourself, how much it would cost you and how much you can earn? I did, that's why I did some calculations and I want to share this with you. What is a crypto miner doing? In the end, you provide hardware to the system that does algorithmic calculations and you get rewarded with coins for it. In the past, people used to mine with their computers and laptops, but when people found out that graphics cards can do that way more efficient, people started building mining rigs that consist basically of a very basic computer with a lot of graphics cards. So I searched up what it takes to build such a rig. I will link the link that I used for my research in the description, so if you want to build the rig that I presented, you can find how to do it. So what do you need? First you need a power supply, a motherboard, a CPU, and you need a lot of graphics cards, because these are the units that do the calculations. As you can clearly see, this is also the most expensive component, because everybody wants them, and the producers know that, and the gamers hate the miners for that because they also have to pay more. So of the $3,600 for the whole setup, these GeForce GTX 1070s make up for $3,000 of that. Then you need some RAM, you need USB riser cables, because you can't connect 6 graphics cards directly to the motherboard. So you need to connect them through cables. You need a hard drive, a mining case that you can either buy pre-built or build it yourself with parts from the department store, an operating system, because your mining rig needs to be up and running. It's a computer. So the important data is the power consumption and the mega hashes per second. This is also one of the reasons why this graphics card gets chosen, because it has the best ratio from mega hashes per second to the power it consumes. If you look at these two factors, the power consumption accounts for the costs that you will have, and the mega hashes account for the profits, because once you supply your mining power to the mining pool, you get paid according to how many mega hashes you provide. One of these graphics cards consumes about 100 watts. The CPU consumes 50 watts, and there's a power supply in the hard drive also needs some power, so I rounded that up to 700 watts. And one graphics card can generate around 30 mega hashes a second, times 6 brings us to 180 mega hashes. Then an important factor is the electricity cost. I plugged in 12 cents here, which is the global average cost for electricity. But in the end, how much electricity you use and how much you have to pay for it is determining for how much you will earn in the end. So I broke it down to the total costs you would have over 1 year, over 2 years, to make it comparable with the cloud mining contracts that I want to compare this calculation to. So what is cloud mining? Cloud mining companies do exactly the same thing I just introduced to you, with the difference that they do it on a highly professional level. So they use geographically places that provide them with the two most important things. First is cheap electricity, because if you play around a little bit here, if I put this to 30 cents, then my costs go up by a lot. It makes a big difference if you pay $1,800 or $730 a year for your rig. So they search for cheap electricity and cold places, because when you have these graphics cards running at maximum capacity 24/7, they get hot. These things generate a lot of heat and you need to cool them down, and if you need AC and ventilation systems, that generates additional power consumption, additional costs, and you want to be as profitable as possible. So I use 2 cloud mining services that I trust in, that I think a lot of people trust in because they've been around for some time, they pay, and their deals are okay. So let's compare. Genesis Mining, they are located in Iceland, where you can find cold air. I think it's in the name of the country, it's quite obvious. And cheap electricity, because they have geothermal power, a lot of that, so they have more power than they can use up themselves, which made the perfect location for Genesis Mining. So what you can do on Genesis Mining, when it comes to Ethereum, which is the cryptocurrency I'm looking at, is you can buy a 2-year contract that provides you with 1 mega hash per second of mining power for $29.99. If we compare that, if we would do that ourselves, we would only pay $28.33. Well, you have to consider that this amount is only the hardware cost and only the electricity. You still need a place to store your rig, you need to cool it, and you need to make sure it runs 24/7, which is kind of the service they provide, because they have stuff that does nothing else. They have big halls full of these rigs. So when you live in a country like that has average electricity costs, you might think, okay, should I build my mining rig myself, or should I do cloud mining? Because in this situation, the costs are not too different if you do it yourself or if you use cloud mining. What they do in Iceland, for example, is they have electricity costs of only 5 cents per kilowatt hour, and because they buy huge amounts of hardware, I guess they might pay maybe not even half for one of these rigs than you would have to if you buy off Amazon or some other retailer. So this is how they make their money. Of course, they have to build the house where they store it in, or the hall. They have to pay the stuff, and they have to live in Iceland. And that's what I'm willing to pay them some money for, because personally I don't want to live in Iceland. For me, I live in Germany, and our average electricity cost is 28 cents per kilowatt hour, which would bring me to about $40. Why this is ways more profitable for me, just to do cloud mining, to make use of the opportunity to use these facilities they installed in Iceland, and I don't have to do it myself. I couldn't do it myself at the same cost. They definitely have the comparative advantage. Why do they offer 2 years contracts? People might ask, hey, they can run longer and stuff. For me, it makes sense, because usually after 2 years the warranty of the graphics card is gone, and if they run 24/7 at full capacity for 2 years, I think they might be at the end of their lifetime. And there are new graphics cards coming out that perform better, they're more efficient, so you're not competitive anymore. Short snapshot at hashflare. Hashflare does basically the same, but they have a little bit difference in the system. You can buy very variable amounts of hashing power, and their contracts only run for 1 year, and they're more expensive. You can see 1 mega hash here costs $16.50, whilst 2 years at Genesis Mining costs you $30. It would be $33 here for 2 years. But in the end, the difference is not too big, and it makes you more flexible, because in the earnings, what you earn always highly depends on the actual price of the underlying currency as well as the difficulty in mining. The difficulty means you have a fixed amount of coins that gets distributed to the miners every day, and how many coins you get depends on how much hashing power you provide to the mining pool. So the more hashing power is available globally, the less coins gets everybody who provides the mining power for their mining power. So how much can we earn with that? There are websites that provide you with that. So we're looking at 1 megahash per second for Ethereum mining. We don't have power costs, neither Genesis mining nor hashflare charge maintenance fees or power costs. This is all built in and they're fixed price. So if we hit the calculate button, it gives us what we would have in returns. And it says daily we could earn 8 cents, 57 per week, $2.43 per month, or $29.52 per year. But that is at the snapshot of today, which means today's difficulty and today's price over 1 year, which is quite honestly not gonna happen in reality. So you bear a risk of the difficulty going up, or even the chance of it going down and you getting more coins, as well as the price changes in Ethereum. So if you look at the number 29.52, 29.99, this means after about 1 year you would break even at Genesis mining, because that's kind of the amount that you would earn in 1 year, and then you would have 1 year of mining that will be pure profit. When it comes to hashflare, oh, you can even put in the hardware costs here. Let's just do that. Hashflare was $16.50. It will tell you after how many days you would break even. So after 204 days, which would mean you have around 160 days of profit, which means if you invest in that and the parameters would stay constant, you would nearly double your money by buying hashing power. But in the end, that's the risk you will bear. The price changes and the difficulty changes. There are multiple calculators. If I use another one, that would give me another number. So Crypto Compare says you only earn $24.67 a year, which is quite a difference, and percentage-wise of like $4. But in the end, what that tells you is for Genesis mining, you would have around a year to break even and 1 year of profit, and you have a little bit more than a year, or no, a little bit than more of half a year at hashflare, and then you get the rest of the profit, which should give you a return of between 60 and 90%. So for me, I will definitely buy hashpower. I would prefer to go to Genesis mining, but as it's quite profitable and people like it and people just Genesis mining, it's all sold out, and that's for nearly every currency. Now, if it's Dash, Ethereum, Litecoin, Monero is available. Zcash is not, it's all sold out. So I personally have to wait until they build another facility, ordered a lot of new hardware, and made it available for me to order online again. Might think about buying some hashing power in the meantime on hashflare, because the price difference is actually not that big. and it's not too much of a difference, but they have hashing power available. But I'll keep you updated. If you think this video was helpful for you and provided some valuable insights and information, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and see you the next time.